Welcome back, loyal fight fans, to boxing. Eat that shit up. I am your host, Tummy Tom. Boxing, yummy yum, yada yada. You know the drill. Hit the thumbs up button, hit the subscribe button. You got a friend, a family member, a cousin, an auntie, an ex, somebody you hate. If you have a worst enemy, still tell them watch boxing, okay? If they enjoy combat sports, they probably enjoy watching this show. We got a lot to get to today. We're coming to you live and direct from the beach, the Oregon coast, Yachats to be exact. I love this place. It's beautiful, even though it's muggy and foggy as shit today. We'll get over it. And as far as I'm concerned, listen, I'm here, boxing's here. As far as I'm concerned, this is the fight hub of the world right now, okay? So we got great fights coming up this weekend, but the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna start off recapping from last Saturday's Dazn event from Eddie Hearn's backyard of his mansion, which is quite a great venue to watch, to be honest with you. And you knew if you watched last week that I thought that Dazn might be able to get the edge on Leigh Wood. I thought that his constant forward pressure and his very fast hand speed, putting his punches together well, and his come forward style in general would be too much for Leigh Wood and that he would overcome him. It turned out to be quite the opposite. Leigh Wood outclasses, outboxes, outdogs Dazn, knocks him out, and stops him in the final round of the fight after dropping him previously. Very dominant performance. Leigh Wood, that was just incredible. I'm gonna start off with two things I noticed that are very simple. Anybody who's just watching, paying a little bit of attention could catch this. These are just simple things that I think won Leigh Wood the fight. First thing is, to Leigh Wood's credit, never took a step backwards. Fighting a forward pressure kind of pressure style fighter, you know, with very fast hand speed, who's kind of Pacquiao-esque in Dazn. You know, you can't be waiting, and that's what I thought he would do. That's why I thought that he would lose the fight. Can't try to wait, and if you do try to wait and counter, man, you gotta be, excellent. You gotta be absolutely excellent. Otherwise, it's not gonna work. Most fighters can't do that. That's not how you should fight somebody like that. And I thought that that's what he'd do. That is what most fighters do against forward pressure style fighters. That being said, that was not the case. He never took a step backwards. He never allowed, Dazn to put it on him. Never allowed him to come forward. He made the whole fight uncomfortable for him because he came forward. He put his shots together as best he could, and as a guy who usually actually backs up, kind of waits to try to figure out where he can land his shots, and has been in the past more of a careful kind of a fighter, kudos to him. Switching his whole style around and just really, taking Dazn off his game. He was never able to get going. So credit to him for that, for taking the fight, under his own control and setting the fight under his own terms, that he was never going to take a step backwards. That's one thing that won him the fight. The second thing is kind of to Dazn's discredit, kind of a flaw in his game, was that that shell defense. So guys, the shell defense, right? This is a very quick defense. You use this when you're hurt and you need a breather for literally 4 seconds tops, right? Before you get off the angle and reset, or you create enough distance, bounce back and reset, right? That's what it's there for. It's not there to be your main defense. Always just show up. People think that this is saving you, covering you up. What it's really doing is mainly impairing your vision. So you can't see the shots that you would normally see coming towards you, right? Because you got these big old boxing gloves on. Even if you do this, you'll see it's impairing your vision. Now put on these big old boxing gloves, you can't see shit. Okay, so the guy's just gonna chew your guard up. The other thing you're doing when you're doing this is you're inviting your opponent to come forward on you, because you're not in a position where you can quickly counter. This isn't a position you quickly counter out of. And the only times you fight like this is if you're hurt, you're on the ropes for a second, get off the angle, or if the other person's shelling up and you guys are fighting toe to toe, chest to chest, and you're exchanging some body shots, maybe mix it up to the top. That's what it's used for. It's not used for somebody who's keeping a bit of distance and constantly just picking you apart, man. You don't want to do this. So Zucan just put that shell defense up within the first couple rounds in. He was just doing that. He was frustrated, and he was giving the fight away from there because, man, the uppercut that knocked him down, I think it was even quite possibly the shot knocked him out, but I know it was a shot knocked him down at first. The uppercut wobbled him again. I want to say that Zucan got hit with, I'm going to give a rough estimate here, maybe about 1,700 uppercuts during that fight, because you just have this guard up, and all you got to do is just, you can't, you prod with the jab, but it might not get through. And then you just come up the middle. You break the guard right up the middle, right down the middle with the uppercut. The chin's there, especially when you're tapping them with the jab and it moves them, or you start throwing in the hooks. Even if the hooks are being blocked, what's happening is a barrage of hooks, right? What that does is you can block it, but it's going to bounce you this way. The other one's going to bounce you that way. And very quickly, your hands will be knocked out of the way. Out of the way to where then you, after the first 2, maybe 3 hooks, your hands are getting knocked way out of the way and you're not blocking anymore. Your hands are over here now. When you've got knocked around the second, third time by some hooks to your shelled up guard, then you're gonna be getting hit with flush shots, and that's what happened there. And then the uppercuts, the jabs, the straights, everything is open. And especially you just touch them once to the chin too. It's a whole world is open to you. You go down to the body because then they're getting touched up to the head, or you finish them the head if it's available there. And this is mainly what happened. He got knocked down with the uppercut, breaking the guard. He was breaking the guard open with the hooks when he started doing this too much. So that's kind of another thing that I saw. But credit to Leywood. That was a brilliant performance and an underdog win in England, in his hometown. Very well deserved. This guy's not such a well-known fighter yet. He just won a world title, so I bet he'll start getting some notoriety now coming around him, especially if he takes another win in his next performance. But yeah, that was a great fight. And very unexpected. That was a performance to be appreciated. And then we're gonna move on to the fights that are coming up for this weekend. We got fights on Friday and Saturday. They're both early, starting around 11 o'clock. On Friday, we're gonna start with the ESPN Plus, the Top Rank under that Bob Arum umbrella. He's putting on a Top Rank event in Belfast, Ireland. So of course I'm a little bit biased, you guys. I'm a proud Irishman myself, but you guys should really take notice of this, okay? Belfast has a long storied history, fight history, coming out of Ireland in general, and Belfast as a specific city as well. Lots of great Irish fighters, legendary fights that have happened there, and I bet that we get more of that. It's gonna be, Michael Conlan, who I'm a big fan of, and he's taking on TJ Doheny, and when you have 2 Irish guys fighting each other in Ireland, I mean, literally, we don't know what will happen, but I know, and I wish we could gamble on my bookie on this, we know that that's going to be a fantastic fight. And what do we want to do here at Unboxing? We want to make more fight fans. We want to make more passionate fight fans. That's what we want to do here. Okay, so watch that, check it out. Especially you like the UFC, you like those events or whatever other sports, if you have the ESPN app, you're getting this for free. And it's on a Friday to add on to your weekend even beforehand. It's really great. It'll be really great. I'm going to go for Michael Conlan in this fight. Why? Because TJ Doheny, he's not a bum, he's not a scrub guy. It's not an easy fight, but I'll tell you what. The guys, listen, I'm sitting on some rocks over here, okay? I'm here for the passion for you guys, okay? So, TJ Doheny, he's not a scrub, he's a former world champion, but I'm getting early signs that this is him kind of on his way out the door, whereas Michael Conlan's riding a 15-0, 16-0, undefeated record at the moment. just put on a great performance against Balut, who's a great fighter, and won dominantly there. And not to mention Michael Conlan's last fight, that Balut fight where he won the fight, that's what he's coming off of. TJ Doheny, on the other hand, he's coming off of a loss to Balut, right? The same guy. So listen, when two guys fight the same guy and one guy wins, one guy loses, it doesn't tell you everything that you need to know, but it is very much worth taking a look at. It's worth something for sure to show you at the very least, because they're fighting the same guy. One guy wins, one guy loses. Keep in mind, styles make fights, but it is worth something. Maybe to show you kind of what direction, the ships are headed there. And that's what I think we're going to see here. I'm going to make a prediction here that Michael Conlan gets the job done in Belfast, in Ireland, in his hometown here against TJ Doheny. And I just think that he's more on the up and coming kind of scale, whereas TJ Doheny, he's more, already been champion, now sliding down. He's taking a championship fight now, which, go figure, it's boxing. He's getting a championship fight coming off of a loss to a guy that his opponent now just beat, So I think that's a good call, a pretty good bet that I'm going to take personally for Michael Conlan to win. Michael Conlan, he's like a negative 600, I believe, or 500, which really ain't bad odds for boxing. Mind you, as I've said before, I don't ever just, with these odds, it's tough. You're not going to put $500-$600 to win 100. But what you do is just parlay that. You don't have to get crazy. Just parlay that with one or two other things that you like so that you get some plus money out of it. And then it's very much worth your while, right? That's what I'm going to be doing this weekend. So yeah, I got Michael Conlan to beat TJ Doheny. Now, we talked about, this is the other fight on Dazn on Saturday, right? We got Dazn Dickens taking on Kid Galahad for the second time. They fought about 8 years ago, and Kid Galahad beat Dazn Dickens, right? Now, you remember that I was talking to you about Leigh Wood, how he just had this great performance. He's been a very good fighter, right? And he just had this shockingly great performance. You know who beat Leigh Wood back in the day? Dazn Dickens. That's how he won the European world titles that he once had. So I really like, this is a ballsy call for you. You'll like this one, fight fans, gamblers out there. You'll like this one. Kid Galahad's a favorite in this fight, especially because he beat Dazn Dickens, but this was 8 years ago, okay? And Dazn Dickens has had the more tougher fights. He's had a more storied career, whether it's wins or losses. He's fought Guillermo Rigondeaux, okay, who's a A-class boxer, okay? In MMA terms, Guillermo Rigondeaux for that division is not the champion, right? But so if this was like, for instance, like middleweight, maybe he's not Adesanya, but it's fair to say he's at least damn close to being like a Robert Whittaker kind of a fighter, right? He's an A-class fighter. And Dazn Dickens, got his jaw broken in that fight and kept trying to fight. He's a scrappy dude. I think Dazn Dickens has come further in his career. I think he's learned a lot more. I think Kid Galahad looks the same as he did from back then. He's a careful fighter, Kid Galahad. He's very crafty in the ring. He's a very good crafty boxer, but he is not a hard hitter. As a matter of fact, if you go back, which I did, of course, you know me, I'm here for you, fight fans. If you go back, as I did, and watch some of these, Kid Galahad fights, he's very crafty, and that's how he wins. But he's not only not a hard hitter, he's almost what you'd call a light hitter, because he taps, he wins on points, he pushes off, he creates angles. He's a switch stance hitter, so he relies on being crafty, but he can't hit hard. I mean, I'm not going out of the realm here. It's telling you that. He can't hit hard. It's not that he's not a hard hitter, but everybody hits hard. This guy can't hit hard, man. He's just relies on being crafty. And I think Dazn Dickens, he's not a world beater. He's certainly not a Tank Davis or nothing like that. But he is a bit of a slugger. He's definitely a scrappy boxer. He'll leave his chin out there a bit because he has a bit of a chin on him. He can take some shots. So this means he'll take some risks. He's going to go to the body a lot more. I'm foreseeing that he's going to be very successful in going to the body of Kid Galahad in this fight. I think that's exactly what he'll do, especially being as that he knows he lost that fight before, but he also knows how far he's come. He knows how good he can be and has been. And I really believe in him as the underdog in this fight to win. So I'm going to take Dazn Dickens over Kid Galahad as the underdog. And I'm going to do that separately. And then I'll parlay the Michael Conlan fight with another couple favorites from the card, heavy favorites. So you get something out of that as long as Michael Conlan can win. I'm going to do a separate bet as a pretty fair-sized dog on Dazn Dickens. I think he gets it done. I think he knows what to do now. I think he knows that Kid Galahad can't hit hard. I think he's seen that, that fight was 8 years ago, but I think he's seen that beyond that, in fights since then, that Kid Galahad, he hasn't changed much. He doesn't hit very hard, right? He just relies on being crafty. And he is crafty, and he can get off the angle very well and evade punches. However, when you're moving your head, you can evade some punches, but he doesn't move his feet very well. He just switches stances to make it complicated for his own striking. He's not a bounce in and out kind of a ghost kind of fighter, though, at all. Doesn't move his feet very well. So I think that Dazn Dickens is going to go to the body on him. I think he'll have a lot of success because where the head moves, the body stays still, especially when you're not moving your legs, when your legs are stationary. So I think that's how the fight's going to play out. And I think that, yeah, again, even if it's going up top, after he mixes it up